Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In 1962, Hu Shi suffered a sudden heart attack and passed away unexpectedly. His wife, Jiang Dongxiu, was devastated by grief. Yet she did something completely unexpected. She placed a photograph of a woman into her husband's coffin, allowing them to be bound together in life and death, never to be separated. Why was Jiang Dongxiu willing to fulfill her husband's bond with another woman? The woman in the photograph was William's, Wei Lianxi, Hu Shi's lifelong soulmate. She remained unmarried her entire life, silently waiting for him for 50 years. According to historical records, Hu Shi met Williams in 1914 while studying at Cornell University in the United States. At the time, the 23-year-old Hu Shi was in his prime, studying abroad on a Boxer Indemnity scholarship, while Williams was the youngest daughter of a professor he deeply respected. They became acquainted through academic exchanges, gradually growing close, appreciating each other's intellect, and engaging in endless conversations. Hu Shi had deep admiration for this woman, who was 5 years his senior, even remarking, "I have met many women, but she is the only one who truly possesses intellect, vision, courage, and passion." Williams was not only independent and strong-willed but also exceptionally talented. She excelled in painting and sculpture, had extensive knowledge, and profound insights. Her intellect and perspective left Hu Shi in awe, prompting him to say, "She was like a helmsman, guiding me toward the right direction." The two often took long walks together, discussing art, life, philosophy, and literature. Always reluctant to part, wishing time would stand still. Even when separated, they wrote letters pouring out their hearts, as if they could never run out of things to say. However, happiness is often fleeting. In 1917, after graduating from university, Hu Shi's mother urged him to return to China to fulfill his long-standing engagement with Jiang Dongxiu. Meanwhile, Williams's mother strongly opposed the cross-national relationship. Though soulmates are rare and precious, the reality of their circumstances created an unbridgeable divide. Having lost his father at a young age, Hu Shi was raised by his mother with great hardship. As a devoted son, he could not disobey her wishes. Ultimately, he chose to return to China and marry Jiang Dongxiu. Williams, however, made a surprising decision. She remained unmarried for life, willingly becoming Hu Shi's lifelong spiritual companion. Even after Hu Shi married, his correspondence with Williams never ceased. Despite being in different countries, they continued to confide in each other, sharing their joys and sorrows. In his letters, Hu Shi expressed his frustrations, complaining that his wife, Jiang Dongxiu, did not understand his thoughts, and could not even write a letter. Williams, with her wisdom, consoled him. "You are both victims of an unreasonable system, don't take it too much to heart." In 1937, as the Second Sino-Japanese War broke out, Hu Shi faced a major life decision, whether to accept the position of Chinese ambassador to the United States. He struggled internally, believing that as a Chinese citizen, he should personally participate in his country's fight for survival rather than merely serve as a diplomat. Williams encouraged him in a letter. "You do not belong solely to China, you belong to this era and its crisis. Within a certain scope, you have drawn people's attention. Like a miracle, you have answered the call of the times." Her words deeply moved Hu Shi, and he wrote back with determination. "I promise you, I will not enter diplomacy half-heartedly. I will give it my all." 2 years later, Hu Shi received a ring from Williams. Upon careful examination, he discovered his name engraved on it, alongside a set of numbers, 14 and 39. Hu Shi immediately understood Wei Lianxi's sentiment. From their first meeting in 1914 to 1939, their bond had lasted 25 years. Overwhelmed with emotion, he gently caressed the ring and said with deep feeling, "This is a reminder that our friendship has lasted 25 years. I will cherish it forever." On Hu Shi's 68th birthday, Huang gave him a special gift. She devoted her entire life savings to establishing the Hu Shi Foundation, ensuring that his thoughts and ideals would endure. She then chose to retreat to a small island, living a life of utmost simplicity. In 1962, during a banquet, Hu Shi suddenly suffered a heart attack and passed away at the age of 71. Across the vast ocean, upon hearing the tragic news, Huang was devastated. She immediately wrote to comfort Jiang Dongxiu. "This great tree has fallen. For you, this must be a time of immense sorrow and emptiness. But within this emptiness, there will be an outpouring of the world's remembrance and admiration for him. What I cherish most is the memory of my friendship with you and my lifelong admiration for this great tree." Jiang Dongxiu deeply understood that Huang and her husband were kindred spirits. She felt no jealousy, nor did she blame anyone. Instead, she chose to honor their bond. Silently, she placed Huang's photograph inside Hu Shi's coffin, allowing them to be together in another world. 3 years later, Jiang Dongxiu received a large package from Huang. To her astonishment, it contained all the letters exchanged between Hu Shi and Huang over 50 years, many filled with affectionate words. At first, Jiang Dongxiu was confused, even a little upset. But as she carefully read through them and grasped Huang's intention, she couldn't help but shed tears. It turned out that Huang wasn't trying to boast about her relationship with Hu Shi. Rather, she saw these letters as part of his cultural legacy. Something that should be preserved for future generations. Huang wrote, "I was merely a fortunate recipient of Hu Shi's letters. These letters are, in essence, a true reflection of his diary." This time, Jiang Dongxiu made a remarkable decision as well. While compiling materials on Hu Shi's life, she personally invited Huang to write a biographical piece, ensuring that her name would forever be an inseparable part of Hu Shi's life story. In 1971, Huang passed away in the West Indies at the age of 86. Throughout her life, she was always a silent presence beside Hu Shi, never officially standing by his side, yet remaining his most irreplaceable soulmate. For nearly half a century, this woman, brilliant, well-read, and noble, never sought anything in return. She never asked for promises, nor did she demand a future. She was just as Zhang Ailing once described. She lowered herself into the dust, and from there, a flower bloomed. "I know your love is as steadfast as the sun and moon, if only we had met before marriage. Meeting the right person at the wrong time, all that remains is a sigh." Huang's love, pure and unwavering, moved the hearts of many. According to relevant historical records, Hu Shi was born on December 17, 1891. His original name was Min, and his given name was Hongxing. He later changed his name to Shi and styled himself as Shiji. His ancestral home was in Jishi, Anhui, but he was born in Chuansha County, Songjiang Prefecture, Jiangsu, now Pudong New Area, Shanghai. Hu Shi was a renowned thinker, writer, and philosopher in modern Chinese history. In 1910, the second year of the Xiantong era, Hu Shi went to the United States to study agricultural sciences at Cornell University. Later, he transferred to Columbia University's Department of Philosophy, where he studied under the famous philosopher John Dewey. In 1917, the sixth year of the Republic of China, he returned to China and was appointed as a professor at Peking University. The following year, he joined the editorial team of New Youth, Xian Qingnian, and actively promoted the New Culture movement. In 1919, he published an outline of the history of Chinese philosophy. And in February 1920, he published Experiments, the first collection of vernacular poetry in China. which had a profound impact on the vernacular literature movement. In the following years, Hu Shi played a significant role in various fields, including academia, publishing, and social affairs. He served as an editor for Quarterly Journal of Chinese Studies and founded publications such as Endeavor Weekly and Independent Review. In 1928, he published a history of vernacular Chinese literature, further advancing the development of vernacular writing. In 1932, he was appointed a member of the National Finance Committee. And in 1933, he became a member of the Rural Reconstruction Committee. In 1938, he was elected as a member of the National Political Council and served as the Chinese ambassador to the United States from 1938 to 1942. In April 1945, he participated in the San Francisco Conference, contributing to the founding of the United Nations. From 1946 to 1948, he served as the president of Peking University. After 1949, Hu Shi moved to the United States. In 1952, he was appointed as a member of UNESCO's editorial board for the history of mankind, cultural and scientific development, and was invited to return to Taiwan for lectures. In 1957, he became the president of Academia Sinica, continuing to promote academic research and cultural development. On February 24, 1962, after presiding over the 5th Academician meeting at Academia Sinica's Kai Yuan Pei Hall in Taipei, Hu Shi suddenly suffered a heart attack and passed away at the age of 71. That evening, a funeral committee was immediately formed, with Chen Cheng as the chairman and Zhang Kun and Wang Yunwu as vice-chairman, along with 103 other members. The mourning hall was set up at Taipei's Jiao Funeral Home. Hu Shi was dressed in a blue long robe and a black jacket, wearing cloth shoes, with the Peking University flag draped over his body. On March 1, Chiang Kai-shek personally attended the memorial service. On March 2, Chen Cheng led the funeral committee in a public memorial ceremony, with 75 organizations participating. Additionally, numerous social figures, military personnel, students, ordinary citizens, and foreign diplomats in Taiwan came to pay their respects, totaling over 38,000 people. At 2 p.m., Hu Shi's body was placed into the coffin, and at 3 p.m., the funeral procession began. The streets from Taipei to Nangang were lined with citizens bidding him farewell. When the hearse reached Songshan, local residents burned incense along the roadside in tribute, making the funeral a deeply moving event. It is estimated that from the time of Hu Shi's passing to his burial, more than 100,000 people attended his memorial and funeral services. On October 15, he was laid to rest at Zhuang Cemetery in Nangang, Taipei. Hu Shi was an influential scholar whose research spanned philosophy, history, literature, and fiction. His prolific writings greatly contributed to the development of modern Chinese thought and culture. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.